Well, it appears the Cuomo-Hochul ticket for governor believes when it comes to a debate, there's nothing to debate. The governor's running mate, former Congresswoman Kathy Hochul, said today she has no plans to spar verbally with Columbia professor Tim Wu, who is Zephyr Teachout's running mate. Teachout is the Fordham law professor running against Cuomo in the September 9th Democratic primary. Teachout, meanwhile, is keeping the pressure on the governor to do a debate, saying he has an ethical obligation. Weighing in now, our political analyst, New York Post state editor, the political columnist for the Post, Fred Dicker, is joining us. And Fred, this is an interesting twist, although I guess there was really no place for her to go. She can't very well be willing to debate if Cuomo isn't willing to debate.
You're precisely right, Liz. I mean, it's kind of like Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy here. I mean, sad to say, Kathy Hochul is the running mate for the governor, for lieutenant governor, and she has her own primary, really is obliged, based on New York traditions anyway, to say whatever the governor tells her to say. And as you suggest, the governor obviously has told her to say you haven't made a decision, and therefore she's not making a decision. But we're going to be hearing about this every day. The governor and his campaign really has given Zephyr Teachout a big issue to go into the primary with. That, along with the Moreland Commission scandal, will be her campaign for the next 2 weeks. The governor obviously doesn't want to debate for the reasons we've talked about before, but Kathy Hochul runs the risk of losing the primary. I mean, right now, nobody really thinks that Zephyr Teachout could beat Cuomo. She might do well, but a lot of people think that Kathy Hochul could lose, and this could be an important issue for her opponent, Tim Wu.
But at this point, he doesn't really have high visibility either.
Well, that's why she could lose. And in addition, to the extent that she is known in the New York City area, where the votes are really heavily in the Democratic primary, she's not known positively. She's associated with her position when she was Erie County clerk with calling for the arrest of illegal aliens who might show up to get driver's licenses. That doesn't go over that well in New York City. And for her 100% NRA rating, which also doesn't go over that well in New York City. In addition, there's a high-profile primary, Liz, in New York City involving one of the city's best-known Asian American political figures in New York City, and that's going to turn out a big Asian vote in a heavily Korean district, and that could benefit Tim Wu as well. And
it's interesting. I've remembered you saying several times in recent months that since her addition to the ticket, that she's been very low-key, that whether by choice or design, she has not really made much of a public splash.
Well, they had her in hiding for a while, I'm sure people will recall, because of these positions of hers. They don't let her out. I mean, it is a sad thing. And by the way, I think Zephyr Teachout is onto something when she talks about an ethical obligation for the governor to debate. I mean, these candidates against Cuomo and against Hochul have won their positions on the ballot fair and square. Democrats wanted them on the ballot. They signed the petitions. And all of us have an obligation, I think, or agree that there's an obligation for political figures to tell us what they think. The governor's relying on these millions of dollars in vicious attack ads against Rob Astorino, plus the state-paid-for ads saying everything's wonderful in New York. That's his campaign, and he's hiding. He's not giving interviews to journalists, as we know. He makes an occasional little statement, and that's it. So I think that there is an issue here over the next 2 weeks we're going to be hearing a lot about.
All right. Well, and I'm sure you'll be talking about it on the radio as well and with us. And Fred is on the radio live from the state capitol. It's every weekday morning, 10 to 11 on Talk 1300 AM. Check it out.